Hello, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope you'll subscribe and be with me for more videos. Today I want to talk more about soul journeys, and the part of the soul journey that I'd like to talk about is when the soul enters the body. Now, before we start, I'm just sort of getting over a cold, so I'm a wee bit breathless, but I want to get this done. It's something that's been asked a lot, and I have my own take on it. So I excuse any coughing, spluttering, or sore throats, but I'll go ahead with it. Again, before I start properly, I'd like to say that this video is neither pro-life nor pro-choice. It's simply the things that I've seen over 21 years of professional clairvoyant and mediumship readings. So it's really my own take on it, and that won't be the same as yours, and it won't be the same as yours, and it simply is what I have seen, and I'd like to pass that on because it might be helpful to people. So we'll touch on when the soul enters the body, when I feel that is, and also a little bit about miscarriage and termination and IVF, because they kind of all come together. And normally it's when I've been reading for clients that these issues have come up and there's been explanations and things shown to me. So first things first, I was brought up Roman Catholic, where we were told that the soul goes into the body at conception. The minute that the sperm hits the egg, that's when the soul goes in. And I just accepted that and believed that for a long, long time. And it was fine. It focused my views. It just was part of who I was. And even when I, was going through changing from my pharmacy to my clairvoyant career or whatever, that was still a certain belief that I held. And I don't want to get into whether, that's pro-choice or pro-life or whatever. It simply is what I was taught and what I believed. And it seemed okay to me. I'd also had a miscarriage that was further on, so, maybe could be more accepted by the pro-choice people as being, I would consider the child I lost a baby, as I do know he is a baby because he's in spirit. But anyway, let's get back to the subject. So always was told that life as such, when life started, which was that moment of fertilization, that's when the soul went into the body, and then it progressed from there. And as I was reading through the years, I could see maybe if a woman had 2 children, and then there would be, I'm using mediumship, but also the tarot, and the tarot would maybe have 3 children out. And I'd be, well, I can see 3 children, and they'd say, well, I've got 2. And the first thing that a clairvoyant will then ask you is, have you had a miscarriage? And normally the person will say yes. Now, the fact that that miscarriage showed up in the reading of the people's children was an indication to me that there was a sense of a soul in the miscarriage. And that just kept going on and on. It was easy to see with the tarot that there was like maybe 1 child, 1 miscarriage, 1 child, 1 termination, 2 children, no children, lots of miscarriages, whatever. And over many years, it was very, very real, in that some of the babies would come back, and actually all they really wanted was an acknowledgement that they had been inside the mum and that they were the son or daughter. And that was the same for children that had gone back up after either a miscarriage or a termination. The souls just wanted acknowledged, and sometimes it was a great relief for the mum in that. But bit by bit, as time went on, I think the first one I remember that kind of went, I was reading for a woman who had a child, and I could see like 2 miscarriages, but I could feel about 3 children in spirit. And she said, yes, that's right. I had 2 miscarriages, and one of them was twins. And I was like, well, that's the 3 souls I can feel. And that's what was out in the tarot as well, as a kind of double check or whatever. But I felt more trauma. I couldn't sense any more souls, but I felt trauma round about the time of all the miscarriages, etc. And I said, well, I feel as though I can't sense any more souls in spirit or in the tarot, but I do feel there was more trauma there. And right away she said, yes, I had IVF, and two fertilised eggs were implanted, but two fertilised eggs were put in, but they never implanted and they come straight back out. And I was like, sort of, right, okay, that kind of makes sense. So I need to think on this. And the scientist in me, because my degree and my master's is all science, was like, it was, wait a minute, we pick up miscarriages, we're picking up the live children, but the actual IVF that went in but didn't implant, I can't find a soul, and it's not actually out in the tarot as children. So busy as I was, I went on, but I thought I'd keep it in the back of my mind. And over the next 5-6 years, I seemed to get quite a lot of women who had miscarriages, had terminations, had an IVF or whatever. And basically what came out of it was I started to think on it and look at the spreads and look at what I could feel. And to cut a long story short, basically what I found was that at the time of fertilisation of the sperm and the egg, if it just come through and didn't implant in the womb and straight out, if it just come straight out, then I couldn't sense a soul and I couldn't see a child actually in the spread. And if someone had an IVF where the fertilised eggs were put in but didn't implant and come straight back out, they didn't show up as souls either. I just began thinking, whoa, and kept it, puzzled over it and thought, well, fair enough, this isn't matching up with what I've been taught. But it is showing that basically, see what happens is when the fertilised egg comes down the tubes, and it has to implant into the womb, and that can be about 5-6 days after fertilisation. And then it has to stick there to be able to grow and for a placenta to form, etc. So that's kind of the science behind it. So if there was an implantation and then a miscarriage, it was a soul had gone in. If it was a straightforward, yes, there had been a fertilisation, but it had gone straight through and out, and it'd come out maybe as a period right away, then there was no soul in that either. And basically it started to make sense to me that, in my opinion, the soul went in at the time of implantation in the womb, whether that was natural or via IVF. And any miscarriages, terminations, etc. after that were souls, and you could see them, you could feel them, they were there in the spread. And then once I'd got that viewpoint, I kept watching out for it, and had a woman come in one time, and she was very, very open in that she'd had IVF, she'd had 2 children from it, and she was really, really happy, but she was worried about her embryos that were stored. And I thought, oh, let me look at this. And again, there had been a fertilisation taking place in a test tube, and the life kind of potentially was there, but there was no soul. And I was working with it as I was going through it for her, and it basically said the embryos that are in the test tube don't appear to have a soul. And again, that said to me, it's only when the embryo or the bundle of cells or the blastocytes or whatever you want to call it, when they actually implant in the womb and then proceed. So I know some people think, well, the soul goes in at birth or at about 20 weeks, or it goes in at fertilisation. Everybody has an opinion on this, or some people just don't think about it. Some people think the soul goes in when the baby can live on its own. That's about 23 weeks or 24 weeks, not so much on its own, but with a lot of help. But my experience is that if cells, fertilized cells, go to the womb and implant, the soul is there, whether the baby then goes on to be fully born, or whether it's miscarried, or whether it's terminated. Fertilised eggs in a test tube, to me, I've not seen a soul in. And in a way, I'm a wee bit glad about that, because I think it would be a nightmare to think of loads of test tubes with souls in them, some being brought forth and others being left or being disregarded or literally destroyed. So in a way, this what I've seen, and I'm not making it fit, it's just realization that's come over a number of years. But to me, it's kind of a relief as well. And for any of the women that I've told that we've discussed it with, it's been a tremendous relief for them too. So basically, I believe in what I've seen for many years, my first belief was that the soul went in at the moment of fertilisation. I don't believe that now. I believe that the soul goes in at the moment of implantation into the womb. And then the soul will either stay and develop there, or it will be miscarried. And that could be in 2 days, 2 weeks, 20 weeks. It doesn't matter. It's still a soul, and maybe its karma has to be in your womb for a while and get to know what it's like, and maybe a wee trial run if it doesn't quite make it the first time. There's all lovely ways of thinking about this. So anyone with IVF that's worried that maybe they have embryos and they don't know what to do, whether if a clinic's saying they have to be discarded or whatever, please know that in my opinion and what I've seen, there is no soul until those cells are implanted into the womb. Going back to whether it's miscarriage or termination, when a child comes back, when someone says, when I say, I've got a wee girl here and she looks about 6 or 7, and someone says, well, yeah, I miscarried a child, or I had a termination, the child in 100% of cases has always just wanted acknowledged. They've not said, oh, I'm angry. They've not said, oh, I'm sad. They've literally said, that's my mum. I was there. I was important. And that's really, it's a sense of being acknowledged that seems to make them happy. Another wee funny story on this, which I find very, very interesting. I know this video is going on forever. Let me get some coffee. I always felt my son in spirit, it was literally shown to me by my gran the day after I lost him, and she gave him a name that wasn't the name that I was going to call him. But we found out years down the line that it was an old family name, a secret name in the family because of something that had happened. But my gran said, I've got him, he's called Stuart. And that was that. And I was like, I wanted to call him Jack. If he'd made it a wee bit further, he would have been Jack, not Stuart. But now he's Stuart, because that's what they've called him. But anyway, I remember a woman coming, and I was picking up about her 3 to 4 year old daughter, who was an amazing wee psychic thing. Oh my goodness, she was just fantastic. It was like, this is an old soul. This girl's been here before. And when I said that, the woman was like, can I talk to you about something? And I was like, yeah, when you go, what is it? He said, you think she's an old soul? I said, oh, that girl's been here many, many times. She's so tuned in. And she said, well, basically, the woman about 4.5 years previously had a pregnancy, and during that pregnancy, things went on in her family that were really quite sad. And after the things that happened that were sad, she miscarried. But quite soon afterwards, she fell pregnant again and had the wee girl that we were talking about. And when the girl was about just a few months before I'd seen the woman, the wee girl had seemingly said something about the time that the sadness was at, and the mum looked at her and she knew she hadn't talked to her about it. She knew that nobody else had talked to her about it. So she said to her, "What did you say?" And the wee girl told her the specific fact that had happened. And she said, "How do you know that?" And the wee girl looked at her and said, "Because that happened the first time I was in your tummy, mummy." And the woman nearly collapsed. But basically what the wee girl was saying, I was in your tummy, and all that happened, and I knew about it, and then I went back up, and then I come back down again, and then that time I made it. And I thought that is just such an amazing story, that because in my instance, I'd always felt that, you know, people didn't come back for maybe years, or, you know, sometimes maybe you wouldn't get the same child reincarnated into the same family. But that's maybe another video. But I thought that was wonderful that the wee girl was saying things that she should never have known us. And she said, "Oh, yes, that happened the first time I was in your tummy, mummy." And I was like, yep, this world, this stuff, it's amazing. It's a joy to be part of these revelations and hear all this knowledge and see it. So again, for any of you out there that need that story, I think it's a good one. Very genuine, very delightful, and I think that wee girl's going to grow up to be one of the best psychics probably in the world, or she'll do something that is a very old soul thing to do. So let's just generally quickly recap. I believe, from what I've seen, that the soul goes into the body at the moment of implantation into the womb, not fertilization. And everything after that is a soul on its journey, and that journey will either make it to be born, or it won't. And but it's still a soul, and these souls still want acknowledged. So let me know if you liked this video. I'm not saying from a viewpoint of, oh, that's wrong or whatever. I mean, have your opinion, but if you do have an opinion, please keep it nice and pleasant. This is a community that's growing out of respect for spiritual paths. But if it's helped you a wee bit, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I do tend to get back to all the people that comment. So if you have a comment or something that you feel maybe is, yeah, I've seen things the right way, the same way as you, or that helps me, then please put it in the comments below. And I'll look really, really forward to it. The Soul Journeys videos, some of them are going to be quite hard going, I think, because I'm not going to I'm going to do the things that need to be done. One of the videos that I've had the most people coming to me about and saying thank you so much was what happens to a soul when it leaves the body, and a lot of people have really benefited from that video, which I'll put actually in the same playlist as this one if you want to click on it. So I want to do more about soul journeys, past lives, and if you want that sort of thing and you don't mind that I will literally be saying as I see it, and sometimes you might agree with it, you might not, but that's the way I'll see it. If you like that, please give me a thumbs up and comment, and then I'll know to do more of these type of videos. So I hope that's helped you a wee bit. I hope it hasn't confused you, but talk to me in the comments and I will get back to you, I promise. This is my way of being able to interact when I'm not really doing that many readings or everything now due to myself and Jim's health. This is my way to answer you. So have a nice day, and I hope to see you back in the channel for more soul journeys, more magic, more mediumship Mondays, and more weekly tarot cards. It's a busy wee channel. So thank you again, and please comment and support me. Many blessings. Bye.